Said I'm taking big shots, just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. They been trying to get me cheap like a thrift shop, but I told them it's my time, check the wristwatch. They been talking way before they even doing something. Whoa. If they wanna play, let's get a tip off. Ain't no silver lining, dawg, this some rose gold. Getting new money, I'm a old soul. Yeah, I get it bouncing like a pogo. Whoa. And I'm too cold like Frozone. And my chick elastic, girl. Told them we ain't in the faking, this ain't plastic, girl. Bought a new whip and cash, now my tax is thorough. Way I'm shooting like step, but my pass is bro. The way I'm playing the field, I'm in a league of my own. And now they all in they fields, I got them all on my phone. But dog, I'm hitting the climb, I got no time on the low. Way I'm shooting is messy, the way I'm hitting the goals. I'm taking big shots, just stop. Way I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. I just left, but you know I'm coming back though. Whoa. And you know I don't play by my rags though. Now go and turn it up to the max, whoa. Send a paper to me now like a fax, whoa. Yeah. Got 2 phones ringing off the hook now. When I'm in the city, I get looks now. I was going bad, but I'm good now. Said I had to go and put my foot down. Told them I'ma get it and go. Even in the summer, man, they knowing I'm cold. I got a couple checks coming that I made out the flows. Might get a couple more popping if I do it some more. I gotta do it for real. Said I'm back in my bag. All my digits are climbing just like they all on a dash. And they tell me slow down cause dog I'm moving too fast. Might go and cop me a Tesla cause dog I still got a gas. Said I'm taking big shots, just stop. Where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop, where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop, where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop, where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're back in the studio, baby. I hope everybody had an awesome holiday and spent some time with your family because, guys, Bitcoin is literally right where we left it. Thank God it was Christmas because I would have gone crazy if I had to live stream every single day in this sideways choppy price action. Guys, we are literally back at $87,235 after a fake out pump yesterday. We got the dump right back to the downside. What is coming next for Bitcoin, guys? Well, we have a little bit of... Can you guys hear me? Okay, we had audio issues earlier today. But we do have our... higher time frame showing some worrying signs for Bitcoin, guys. We're currently hitting support. Are we going to get the bounce? I'm going to talk about the key levels and that massive bearish signal, which is getting closer and closer to printing on the higher time frame. Should you be worried? We're going to cover it all in tonight's live stream. And, oh, man, I can't wait for this range to break, guys. I don't even care if it breaks up or down. I just want it to break. But shout out to the Mafia. Welcome in. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to Rudy. Said, love you, CandleMafia. Welcome in, Rudy. Long time no see. He was in the premium Discord. Shout out to Servando Estrada. Welcome in. We got Rob the Crypto Snob holding it down in the chat as our mod. We got Tony D in here. I'm sure Darren will pop up. We'll get some other mods in here. Show the mods some love in the chat, guys. We got H-Bar Moonboy. What is going on, man? Welcome in. Let's see. We got Lodic? I don't know how to say that name, but welcome in, bro. He says, false move up, 3 days down. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, we got Neon Visual in the chat. What is going on? Welcome in. We got a lot to cover today, guys. As Bitcoin just sits in this sideways range, when will it break? I'm going to try to give you an idea and talk about that bearish sign on the weekly time frame, getting closer and closer. Nothing really super surprising. But with all that being said, guys, we got a lot to talk about. Let's see. Shout out to Tony, not Tony D, Tony Fernandez in the chat. What is going on, bro? It's happening, dropping the blue L's in the chat. I don't know what that actually is. But guys, without further ado, it is going to be a short stream tonight. We got New Year's coming up, and we're going to try to continue to rest up here into the new year, and hopefully the new year can bring some more volatility and excitement for the markets. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's jump into it. Shout out to Flat Level said, yo, Frankie, making money on the green and red candles. Absolutely. And to be honest, usually it's like, oh, man, guys, price is going down. We're still making money. But honestly, guys, man, I'm not going to lie. It's hard for me to take time off, guys, but obviously traveling for the holidays. Had to take some time off the chart. Didn't live stream for the majority of last week. I think Tuesday was our last live stream, and thank God we didn't live stream because obviously not much has happened here. We are just continuing to wiggle sideways. I was hoping that this range was going to break by the time I came back, and here we are, just still sitting within our macro or main volume profile here between about $85,700 and $91,830. Got a little bit of a fake out pump and dump yesterday, but really nothing to write home about. I kind of got excited. I was on the plane last night on the way back home. Seeing this pump to the upside, I was like, oh, my God, we're getting a move finally, and then just completely gets eaten up. But what is coming next here, guys? I'm going to start off here on the higher time frames. I'm going to go ahead and hide our local levels, and we're going to come up here to the weekly time frame, guys. Now, I think it was Tuesday was our last live stream. Talking about this weekly money flow coming out, and we actually compared this to MicroStrategy, just kind of the overall chart as well as the money flow. And, are we on our way down to $70,000, right? Now, I am not, completely oblivious to the fact that we might be able to get some kind of a bounce here. We'll talk about those lower time frames in just a second. But I do want to point out, guys, that the relief rally is not promised. Again, we'll cover Market Cipher B and try to figure out what's going on here. But I am honestly not going to be expecting much here until 2026, right? Just super low volume. Obviously, we have the holidays. Not really that uncommon to see this happen at the end of the year. Everyone was talking about the options expiring and all that stuff. It's just nothing's happening here. So hopefully in 2026 we can get a bigger move, either to the upside or the downside. Obviously, you guys know my overall kind of thought process here. Weekly money flow, guys, continuing to the downside. This is that bearish signal here, just working its way down, which is obviously a very, very large high time frame bearish signal, which in every other situation has called for a much bigger drop to the downside. Now, I'm not just instantly calling for a 70% drop into a massive bear market to 30K. Obviously, we have massive support between 70 and 67,500. I'll talk about that key level in just a second. But this weekly money flow, guys, just still not looking good. Wiggling to the downside. All our other high time frame money flow is continuing out. 6-day money flow trending out. 5-day money flow still in the red here. Yes, it's coming up locally, but not enough to say it's a fake out. 4-day money flow coming straight out. 3-day money flow coming straight out. Just not really what we want to see. Obviously, 2-day money flow still in the red here. So when we see this, obviously, the hope here is that we can get some kind of relief rally, and we're going to talk about the key levels. But overall, right, lower highs and lower lows are still the anticipation here. Next major high time frame target to the downside is, of course, going to be 70,267K. I'm not saying we have to come straight down here, but I just want you guys to be prepared. I'm going to cover the local support. We obviously have some levels in between where we are now and here, but over the long haul, right, same thing. Weekly money flow crosses over in 2021, right? Starts coming down. I would say we're, kind of closer to, maybe somewhere in here, right? So you can see we did wind up getting about a 46% pump from the lows before rolling over, putting in a lower high and a lower low. Money flow indicates the overall trend, which obviously is going to make us anticipate high, low, lower, high, lower, low. I'm not saying it has to be that full 77%, 75% correction. We are going to be paying very much attention here to between 70 and 67K. But just to kind of, I wish I had something else to talk about, but this is really the only kind of indication that we've gotten. Money flow just continuing down, not looking super good. And yesterday, just to kind of bring this up again, because I think this is really helpful, we brought up MicroStrategy on Tuesday's live stream, kind of talking about how, MicroStrategy could be an early indicator here, guys. We did not get any kind of relief rally, and if you can see both my cursors on the screen here, here's your value area on MicroStrategy, right? And it's almost the same exact thing that we had in 2021, right? You have this value area, you're inside your balance, you wind up losing the range. Obviously, your weekly money flow was also crossing into the red here, indicating that you would, or just coming out in general, indicating that you would see a bigger drop to the downside. And where do we expect price to go? Well, price ranges 80% of the time, and based off auction market theory, we do expect Bitcoin to, more often than not, seek out previous fair value, which would be sitting down here in this lower value area, which you could see on the right side of my screen is the same thing as this local value area or lower value area down here, right? If I were to draw out our volume profile from here, right, you have this like general volume profile. If we lose this, guys, and we cannot reclaim, obviously we have rejected this once again. Money flow coming out on the weekly, right? That would be the next overall anticipated big level of support. And again, don't get too worried here. We do still have some support locally. But at the end of the day, right, I would not be surprised if we were able to see that bigger drop down. And you could even see here on MicroStrategy, again, not only the money flow coming out, but this is very similar to 2021 as well, right? If you come back here to 2021, MicroStrategy puts in the high. We come down, lower high before the bigger continuation down, also accompanied by money flow coming out on the weekly. I'm kind of hiding that, but you guys can see that right here for a lower high and a lower low. Is MicroStrategy kind of indicating, right? We didn't get any kind of relief rally here on strategy, right? Is that indicating that we might not get the relief rally here? I can't say it's 100%, but it is interesting because even if you come back to 2021, you can see we got the big drop down. We did get, if I'll pull up 2021 on Bitcoin so you guys can kind of see it, right? We get the initial big drop down. You know, MicroStrategy puts in the high, the low, the lower high before the lower low comes in. Bitcoin puts in the high, the low, the higher high, right? So interesting there. We get the lower high on strategy, higher high on Bitcoin to form those bearish divergences. And then as that money flow comes out, we get the drop. We did get a little relief rally here on strategy. We did get the relief rally on Bitcoin. But here, right, we just did not get any kind of relief here at the lows on strategy. Could that be indicating that we're not going to get it here? I'm not totally writing off the fact that we could get a relief rally, but it is interesting. I just kind of want to point this out. And there it is, right? And we'll talk about, if we're going to see a relief rally, where are the levels that we're going to bounce off of, where are the key levels of resistance. But it is just interesting, right? Same thing. High comes in, low, lower high, low, higher high to put in those bearish divergences, the same high time frame divergences that we saw last cycle before the bigger drop to the downside. And again, I want to be clear, guys. I'm not necessarily calling for a traditional 4-year cycle, 77% drop, 80% drop to the downside. Obviously, massive, massive support down here. I don't know what the charts are going to look like if and when we get down here. If it looks good, right, maybe it depends on how long it takes us, right? If we wind up coming down here, maybe we get a bounce off the value area high POC. This is also confluent with the previous all-time high on Bitcoin, which is where we have bounced in the past in previous bear markets. I'm not going to change the chart, but, around $20,000 was the all-time high in 2017. We came down, hit it, deviated a little bit below, then the bottom came in and we were able to get the big move up. So it's kind of the same thing here, right? Previous all-time high, we have the value area high, the POC of the range, and on top of that, we also have a good amount of confluence in here from horizontal daily and weekly MPOCs. There's a ton of confluence in here, so this is definitely going to be a big, big level to look at, and I just would not be surprised if we end up seeing those prices come in, even if the relief rally comes in, right? But whether we come down like we did on MicroStrategy, instant drop, or if we get the relief rally, I will still, based off our weekly money flow, be looking for lower highs and lower lows. So will it mirror? Will it just happen exactly how it happened in the past? Can't rely on that 100%, but history oftentimes rhymes. It doesn't always repeat, but it oftentimes rhymes. And someone asked me to look at MicroStrategy on Tuesday, and we just wound up seeing this, and it's like, yeah, like this is, lose the POC. Where are we looking to go? Value area low. So if we talk about long term here on Bitcoin, if we do come down, wind up eventually seeing 70 to 67K. Maybe we get a little bounce. Eventually, if we cannot reclaim this POC at 67.5, next level is going to be about $58,000. So, we'll talk about those higher time frame levels as well. And again, I'm not necessarily saying it has to be an instant drop down. I'm not saying it has to look exactly like this. Double checking my audio here because I've had some wonked out audio today, guys. Hopefully, you guys can still hear me. But that's what we're looking at, right? High time frame. This weekly money flow, like what does that mean? It could mean that we're headed down here. This is big support. Depending on, if the weekly money flow comes out, just remember when we come to the bottoms, guys, sometimes we do see long-term accumulation, right? Long-term kind of ranging at the lows here. Once we put the low in, we wound up pretty much going sideways for dang near a year. So, if we did see that drop down, right, maybe the money flow crosses over. We get maybe a bounce, sucked back in here. Maybe we bing bong around. If that weekly money flow comes into the red and decides to curve back to the upside, if we get those bullish confirmations down here, hey, maybe this time is different, right? I'm not going to bank on that. But if we get the money printing, if they replace Powell, right? With someone who's much more dovish, they start printing money like crazy. Maybe we just see a much less brutal bear market, but I am still going to be looking at the charts, right? So we see those bullish signals forming down here with the money flow coming back up. We could start to say, well, hey, maybe there's a significant bottom coming in here, and we can look at maybe this time being different, just meaning that it's going to be a little bit less of a significant bear market. So that's all I'm going to cover on the higher time frames. I'm just talking about this money flow coming out, so I just kind of want to have everyone prepared. As moves down are not going to last forever, right? But we'll see, right? It depends on what money flow looks like down there. I'm not saying it's impossible to come down there, put in lower highs, and just, get the bigger breakdown into a traditional bear market, but it's not going to be instantly what I'm looking for. We have to understand we have key support here, and we might actually have some macroeconomic things looking a bit different. So just keep that in mind. So there you go. And again, it's like almost 1-for-1, exactly what happened in 2021 here with MicroStrategy. So, but let me go ahead and pull back up the Bitcoin chart. We'll cover the local levels. That's kind of the higher time frame stuff. And again, maybe this just fakes out, but it just doesn't look very likely, right? Again, Bitcoin followed suit in 2021 on MicroStrategy's weekly money flow. Looks very similar here. But locally, if we are not going to get the drop down from here and we're going to get some kind of a relief rally, guys, what are some of those local levels that I'm looking at? Well, obviously, again, I hate to be repetitive here, but of course, Bitcoin's just moving sideways. Not only moving sideways, but super wonky, right? Big wick, move back down. Big wick, back down. Big move up. Kind of stable. Up, down, super choppy. Be careful out there. Please use your stop losses, guys. Not a super high probability trading environment. The biggest levels of support and resistance, in my opinion, that I am most interested in are still going to be sitting here between 95,000 and 97,500 to the upside if we're able to get the bigger breakup. This is the first major level of resistance. If we get the move down first, and I'll try to give you guys a read on money flow in a second. If we get the move down first, I'll cover some of these local levels. But at the end of the day, the bigger zone, if we're not going to get the move down, the only levels that we have between where we are now and the $70,000 to $67,000 level is really going to be sitting down here. If we come down and take out 80,500, we have the weekly MPOC at 78,550. We also have a daily level in there as well. I believe, weekly level in there on top of that. So, one thing I will be looking for is if we do come take out this low, of course, we can look for some support here for some potential long positions back to the upside, whether that's going to give us a massive retracement or it's just going to continue our lower highs and lower lows. We'll have to wait to see what that price action looks like. But that major key level is really going to be sitting here between about, call it 79,550 all the way down to 78,550. And then you have one more daily sitting down here at about $76,000. But until then, right, just total chop fest until we hit those bigger levels, right? Either here or here. Now, we do also have some kind of interesting levels locally. I would say these are the main levels I'm paying attention to. But as we remain inside this volume profile, I'll give you guys these levels. You have a value area low in confluence with our daily here. Pull this up. This sits between about, call it 85,774 all the way down, not all the way, but down to about 85,406. Have a little bit of confluence there, and then if we pull our Fibonacci from the low to the high, you do have your 786 sitting in there as well. So you have 3 levels of confluence there, and I would just be treating this as a volume profile. I'll show you why in a second. I'm not super confident that if we do get the push down here, that would be a massive move up. In this wonky price action, maybe we just get it. But if we take a look here at the higher time frames, like the 12-hour red dot printing. This is also going to be a blood diamond on the Heikin-Ashi candles, which is, of course, not a beautiful sign. And on top of that, you have the 12-hour red dot with our 45-minute money flow crossing into the red, which would indicate that the downtrend is likely to continue. So I'm not super interested in this, but we do have some setups in the premium Discord that we'll be looking for down here. We have some specific entry triggers we're looking at. Not super amped on this, but it is an area to get some support. Might look at that as a scalp. But, I don't like this 45-minute money flow coming out. I don't like the 12-hour red dot. And on top of that, insult to injury here on the blood diamond. Same thing on the 16-hour. You got the 16-hour blood diamond, red dot printing with our 1-hour money flow looking to potentially come into the red here. So that is what I'm going to be looking for. 1 hour and 45-minute money flow crossovers into the red. If that's going to continue our downtrend, next level to look at is going to be the value area low / daily at down to about $85,425. If we lose this, I prefer to just see the drop down below 80,500. We have maybe some other local setups. I'm not going to cover them on the live stream, but we could come take out this low. We can come take out this low. But again, it's like I would really prefer to come take out this bigger low here at 80,500 because that's where we have the bigger, significant level of horizontal support and resistance, right? I've covered this almost every single day. If we just take off all the ranges and we just look at our horizontal resistance levels and support levels, right? Like Here's your confluence down here. Here's your confluence up here. You have some local levels up here within the local range. I'll pull that back up, right? So to the downside, you have these daily value area low. No MPOCs down there. So again, I'm not super amped on that. But at the high, right, if we do get the push back up, I will say you do have a daily MPOC, daily horizontal, and your value area high of the range. So we do have some confluence up there. Right, so I'm just going to be viewing this as a range until it breaks. I just don't know how good I feel about this breaking to the upside at this point, right? I would think if we were going to do that and get a push to this value area high, it would have happened yesterday. And of course, this just got rejected right back to the downside. So I'm sitting on my hands. I'm still holding my long here from about $85,000. So if we do get the bigger move up, I'm kind of covered on that. But if I'll stop out in profit if we get the loss, and I'm just looking down to those bigger levels. But right now, value area low, we'll say it comes down to about 85.5. Value area high, daily MPOC, daily horizontal. And we also have, if we pull our fib from the high to the low, golden pocket's already tapped, but we do have the 786 in there as well, right? So this is somewhat confluent, not as important or extreme as the level up here at 95 to 97K. But if you're looking to trade those local levels, I would say even taking this golden pocket off the chart, right? There it is, right? Just treating this as a traditional volume profile. There's your support, right? Looking for longs into the low and beyond, right? Maybe reclaim, flip the POC, go back up to the high, local level of resistance number 1, local level of support number 1, and then, of course, right, if these are not respected, I'm just going to be looking for those bigger levels up here and down here. Very simple. I wish I had something else to talk about, guys. I figured if we took some time off the stream for the holidays, we'd be able to come back and have a big move and, different price action to look at. But this is brutal, guys. And I get to see it. Everybody's just like, oh, my God, this price action's horrible. It's just super boring, right? It's the end of the year. I think 2026 will bring a lot more volatility, a lot more excitement. But right now, I'm not really going to be expecting too much. Low volume, low volatility right now. Again, not super uncommon in an end of the year kind of situation. So, brutal. Absolutely brutal. But let me come back. Yes, if you want crazy moves, guys, we'll take a look at silver and gold, right? Taking a look at silver. Absolute moonshot here on silver, topping out at about $83. Insane here. We did have our Fibonacci extension zone, and you guys can see we are starting to get a little bit of resistance up here. I think this still potentially has some room to grow. Next major target to the upside here on silver, right? Obviously a little bit overbought here. But if we are able to continue cracking up into the highs, obviously pullbacks are not impossible, but we do have the 106 to $125, or, call it 121 to 105 would be the next target. Obviously, this extension zone was the first major target. You can check that off the list. This has been tapped. And then that next zone will be sitting up here between 121 and 105. It's like when you have silver and gold more volatile than Bitcoin, Bitcoin's boring. And then we can take a look at gold as well. Gold, obviously, absolute insanity, right? We had our next target here. I could zoom in a little bit. First target was right up here. Well, you can take that off the chart. And then we had the golden pocket retracement as we started pulling back. There's your golden pocket retracement, looking for higher lows and higher highs. Next target being $4,492. And where are we getting that resistance? Right up in here at literally the exact target. And you're now pulling back off some bearish divergences, at least on the 4-hour time frame. There's your higher highs, lower highs, a little bit of a pullback there. But yeah, it's crazy. When you see precious metals moving like this and Bitcoin's going sideways, it's insane, right? Obviously, these are typically the boring assets, but now it's just flipped upside down. Insane. Can it get to 91,500, drop to 85,550, and go more than 91,500? Shout out to... I don't know how to say your name, brother. I'll call you out. 2434. Is it possible? I mean, anything is possible. But, again, 90,000. What do you say? 91.5. Yeah, I mean, listen, when we look at this, the real confluence starts between 92 and 92.5. But I have moved this value area to the current price action. The original volume profile that we looked at here was up here. This POC does sit at about 91,500. So I would actually extend this down. The major zone between 91.5 and 92.5, definitely possible, right? And in that case, right, it would be hold on top of the value area low, rotate back up in here. It's hard for me to say if you're going to be able to like maybe come down, put in a higher low, and then just get the bigger breakout. The one thing I will say is if we do not get confirmation here, right, we will be looking for shorts as we typically do, right? Deviate above the high, look for the shorts back into the range, deviate above the high, short back into the range, longs at the lows. I'm still holding this long position. So, just naturally I'm going to be looking for shorts up here. If we don't get that confirmation, right, if we don't get the shorts up here, even if we do get the setups and it doesn't play out, the next major zone is going to be, 95 to 97K. This is major resistance. Not only do you have the 2 daily MPOCs, the weekly MPOC, I believe we have some other levels in there as well. Obviously, we do have the macro POC of our overall macro range. And, just from a simple volume profile perspective, taking off all the other confluences, take off the current range, right? Like we're just fighting to get back in this macro profile, like just to keep things nice and simple. Here's your macro range, and there's a couple that we could look at. This is pulled to the current price action. Value area low sits at about $89,073. It's pretty much what we rejected, right? We try to get in, try to hold it, can't do it, we lose it, rejected, 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 rejected. We just cannot get back in here. But if we do get above that $92,500 level, I would anticipate this to be the line in the sand to get the move up to around $95,000 to $97,000. Again, 2 daily MPOCs, weekly MPOC, and the point of control of the range. This is going to be a big level to watch. If we do get that move up, I am going to be looking for shorts up in here. Depending on what the daily money flow looks like at the time, right? If we take a look at the daily, one thing I can say here, daily money flow is still attempting to come up here, right? It's obviously really wonky, but if you just draw your trend line, right, still attempting to trend up here. If we get the bigger move up and I take a short up here, and let's say money flow continues to come up, at that point, if we start to see the crossovers into the green, I will be careful with that short, right? Because at that point, if the money flow is crossing into the green, maybe we could flip that value area low to support to get the bigger retracement to the upside, which in my opinion, the next big level to look at would be between about $102,000 and $105,000. We have confluence up here with some MPOCs. We also have the 50-week moving average sitting up there as well. Right, so this zone would look something like this. And before I start looking up towards $115,000, we could obviously look at our previous value areas or our previous macro value areas. Right? I'm going to start with this one, right? And then once we start cracking above bigger levels, we can pull up the larger ranges to have those higher targets. But right now, it's like, hey, if we can get back up in here, this POC is pretty much still sitting at $97,000. You start flipping these levels, the next big zone, 50-week moving average. You have the anchored VWAP from the all-time high, the value area high of the range. You have your weekly MPOC, massive, massive, massive level of resistance sitting between $102,000 and about $105,000. Now, if we got this, right, like does this all-time highs? I don't know, right? Like really what we need to see here is a breakout and a flip of support. Right? That would indicate, right now we're back above the 50-week moving average, which we have never seen before in the past, right? Once you break below it significantly, we're never able to get back below it, especially with all the high time frame money flow coming out. This is still my overall kind of thought process that if we are lucky enough to get up there, this is going to be massive resistance, and it could still be an area to look for a macro lower high and a macro lower low, right? And then people start talking about the head and shoulders. One thing I will say is this looks like maybe a little too predictable. So, maybe the head and shoulders doesn't play out. But at the end of the day, with that weekly money flow coming up, like even a push up to 102 to 105K would not necessarily make me think we're going to all-time highs. We got to break out of here and flip it to support. And we need all the high time frame money flow to flip back into the green, which is very unlikely to see this late in the cycle. But again, we'll cross this bridge if and when we get there, right? We can't even get back above the value area, or the value area low, rather. So if you want to get this on your chart, I recommend this, right? Because these are the most relevant levels. Again, you have the bigger volume profile that I brought up before, which brings you all the way up to 115K, but there's no reason to look up here until we get above the local levels, right? So if you want to get that range on your chart, I'll just give it to you right now. So you do have the, where's it at? Bada boom, right? So value area low sits at about 92.3. POC sits at about $97,000. Value area high sits at about 103K. And again, confluence here on the value area high, confluence here on the POC. And if we pull our significant Fibonacci retracements, if we pull it from the previous swing high to the low, you can see the golden pocket is confluent with the POC, and the 786 is confluent with that 50-week moving average. Where do we look for lower highs and lower lows? I'm not saying you can't go for the full retracement, which does bring you up towards 108 to maybe 116K. But again, there's no guarantee you're going to get that full retracement. Just like in 2021, that full retracement was sitting all the way up here, right? We never got up there, right? There's no guarantee you're going to, come on. There's no guarantee you're going to get that full retracement. We didn't get it last cycle. We wound up actually rejecting your local golden pocket 786, right? So if I'm looking at, a similar situation to this local 786 golden pocket, I would say that is sitting between 97 and $102-ish thousand. So, potentials for lower highs and lower lows, potential for lower highs and lower lows. Once we start flipping this, then we can start looking up towards about 115K. I would say this is probably the higher probability as of right now, though. And again, we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. We still got to get, again, we have been struggling to get back inside these volume profiles. So we'll see what happens. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, shout out to John Newton said, we're going to zero. Shout out to John Newton. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah, stock market's at all-time highs. Yeah, it hasn't meant anything just yet for Bitcoin. But we could take a quick look at the SPY. Yeah, I mean, this is I've brought this up in the past, right? To be honest, like, this actually has me a little more worried than anything, right? Daily money flow coming out here on the SPY. Higher highs printing, lower highs printing. You have bearish divergences, money flow coming out. Kind of looks like it's losing steam, in my opinion, right? We take a look at the weekly time frame. You got the weekly bearish divergences confirmed. You even got a little green dot here on the 22nd. Didn't really do too much. Got us another little pop-up. But, yeah, it does, higher highs printing, lower highs on your momentum waves. Doesn't look as, horrible as it does on Bitcoin because this money flow is still somewhat thick in the green. But one thing I have brought up in the past is if we pull Bitcoin back up and we pull the SPY over it, right? We just overlay the SPY here. Whoops. We actually have seen this in the past, right? Again, I'm not saying that it has to happen like this just because it's happened like that in the past. But even here, right, SPY continues to put in all-time highs as Bitcoin gets the initial drop down. Obviously, it hasn't meant anything just yet, but we have seen it in the past, right? Bitcoin tops out, strategy tops out, we get the drop down, SPY continues marching up, right? Bitcoin tops out back here, SPY puts in higher highs, and then eventually just winds up continuing down. So we'll see what happens. It could be a very, very similar situation, right? I just like to pull it up just to kind of show like it has happened in the past. Right, just because we are continuing to put in higher highs on the stock market, it's not necessarily mean they're slightly higher highs, but so are these, right? Like just kind of wiggling back up there, and it's almost like at the exact same spot, right? And I'm not just saying just because it looks similar, it has to play out the same way, but it is kind of wild, right? It's like you top out on Bitcoin, we get a little correction on the stock market, Bitcoin gets the big plunge to the downside, stock market continues to put in higher highs, we kind of wiggle around here, next drop down. Just does, could be a similar situation, right? Bitcoin tops out, stock market continues to put in highs. Right? We'll see what happens, right? So yeah, it's doesn't change the fact that this money flow is coming out. Again, I am a technical trader, guys. Anytime this money flow comes out, it indicates the top is in, lower highs, lower lows, right? Doesn't have to be the case, but there's your weekly money flow crossover. If you watch this channel, you'll be like, oh my God, this is the 50th time I've seen this, but at that point, right, top is in. High, low. You're expecting lower highs. Why? Your money flow is coming out. That does indicate that the overall trend is going to continue down. Doesn't mean you can't get relief rallies, right? But top is in. Bounce. Are we looking for new all-time highs? No, never. Money flow is coming out. We're looking for lower highs, lower lows. It's the same thing here. Money flow coming out. Sure, we can get bounces, but lower highs and lower lows are going to be the higher probability situation. Now, it doesn't mean I'm just going to be, if we start reclaiming like massive support, if we wind up getting significant reclaims of the 50-week moving average, that could be different, right? We've never seen that happen in the past. We get a little bit above it, we lose it again, which I would probably be expecting as a base case here, right? Maybe we come up, retest it. But again, I want to be clear. When you pull up strategy next to this, right? Like the relief rally is not guaranteed, right? Just like I showed on, just like I showed on MicroStrategy, right? In the past, like we did not get any relief here, right? We did not get any relief. We just ripped right back down to the massive, the next big value area. That sits right down here. Like, are we going to see history? Not history, but we're going to see Yeah, are we going to see history repeat, right? Here's 2021. There's the high, there's the lower high, and the big drop down. There's the high, the higher high to put in the bear divs. There's the big drop down, but strategy gets the relief rally. Bitcoin gets the relief rally, right? So typically they do follow each other. We didn't get the relief rally here. Is that indicating that we're not going to get it on Bitcoin? I hope we do. But I just can't unsee this, right? Especially money flow coming out, right? Same thing here. Money flow crosses into the red. 2021, right? Strategies, weekly money flow crosses into the red. That happens right here. Front running Bitcoin. Money flow crosses into the red. Bitcoin's a little bit behind. Same exact thing here. Money flow crossed into the red already. I know you guys, it's hard for you guys to see this. Money flow crosses into the red. Just to line that up, right? Bitcoin following suit, right? Just lagging behind on that weekly money flow. It's got me a little, I don't want to say concerned, like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to die, right? But it just, that's what gives me the bias that we're probably going to see the move down whether we get the relief rally or not. And this makes me suspicious if we're going to get the relief rally. But again, we're going to play it level to level, right? As a trader, doesn't really matter what happens next, right? I'm just simply waiting for the next key levels. If we get the bigger drop down, come on down to a lower time frame, right? If we get the bigger drop down, we have the $80,500 support, right? If we come up first, we have the resistances. I'm just sitting on my hands, right? I am not interested in trading this chop. Again, like we went live on Tuesday, nothing has happened, right? Just like absolutely brutal. So, you know, if we come down here, maybe I'm interested in a scalp. Probably not, if I'm being honest, based off the money flow on the 12, red dot on the 12-hour and 45-minute money flow that I explained earlier in the stream. If we come up, I'm definitely interested in shorts. Definitely interested in shorts. Next big long I'd be interested in would probably be down here. Doesn't mean I won't look for fake outs of these lows if I get the confirmations, but just with the way the charts look right now, I would really prefer just to get out of this range, right? Sometimes the best trade is no trade, right? Especially at the end of the year, I like to take a little bit of a break. I very rarely take a break off the charts, guys. This year, going home for Christmas was the biggest break I've taken from the charts, and thank God, because if I was streaming through this, it would just be this live stream repeated 50 times, and I just don't see a reason to repeat it, right? It's just like, when you get a little update, right? Oh, money flow continues out. You know, there's just not a lot to talk about here. It's absolutely brutal. My biggest weakness as a trader is the ADHD I have. Come on, do something. Yeah, shout out to Boss Sloth. Shout out to you, man. I actually had it's actually weird. I actually had an in-person experience with a sloth recently. I got to touch it. And then the person at the zoo, I guess you can call it, kicked us out because the sloth tried to attack me. And Mrs. Candles. And if you're wondering if sloths can attack in a fast manner, they can't. They attack very slowly. It was just slowly opening its mouth, coming at me in like slow motion. And she hit the sloth with a stick and said, okay, time to go. We're going to get out of here. They're cranky. And I was like, what the heck? I just almost got attacked by a sloth. True story. But shout out to Boss Sloth. Just don't get chopped up in this, guys. Please, for the love of God. If I've learned anything through my journey of trading, be patient for the key levels, right? And even for me, like, sure, we have the confluence up here. Sure, we have some local confluence down here. But for the most part, bigger levels are here and here. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Bull. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He says, I opened a 1 Bitcoin short at 90,300 last night. Took profit at 87.7. It's good to know resistance levels. Absolutely. This is why I point this stuff out, right? Even if I'm not interested in the shorts or the longs, right? Even if I'm not interested in this level or not interested in this level, it's good to know where those levels for high probability reactions are, right? Like, I'm not interested in here, right? I'm like, oh, do I long or short, right? I would just sit here and wait to come into a key level for a rejection, right? Are we long or short here, right? I would just rather wait to hit a bigger key level, right? And again, not the biggest level, but I would just still rather wait for those key levels. You have a much higher probability of a reaction. And of course, within the volume profile, like at the end of the day, if I get a move down here with bullish confirmations, might look to take the trade, right? I might not expect it to be a massive move, but there's going to be a higher probability of waiting for the key levels. Trading is a game of trapping, right? You want to wait, set your traps in the market, sit on your hands, right? And I had my alert set over the when I was traveling, right? They just never went off. So there was no trade to take. And look what happened, right? We just went sideways. I didn't stress out looking at the 1 minute chart going, oh my God, should I long? Should I long? Should I short? Oh my God, should I long? Right? You just kind of sit out of things, right? Or obviously this is more recent, but like even here, right? It's like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? This is a mess, right? Like I'm happy to not trade this. So there you go. Shout out to your comrade says, Frankie, I looked at USDT dominance and RSI on it. Will be really interesting to hear your opinion. It shows really interesting that to get a super bounce. Let's take a look at USDT dominance. Take a quick look at this. Let's pull it up on a daily time frame. So again, it is important to understand the difference between your time frames, right? I don't know what time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at a 5 minute, it's going to be different than if you're looking at a weekly or a daily. But let's see here. What do I see on big USDT dominance here? I see a fresh weekly money flow crossover, which would be bullish for USDT dominance, which would be bearish for Bitcoin's price action, right? I'm not saying that you can't get, let's take a look at the lower time frames, right? Of course, 4-hour money flow is crossed into the red. Maybe this local downtrend continues. Maybe that gives you a little bit of relief. But when I just take a look at the high time frames, it's this looks higher time frame bullish in my opinion, which is just more in line with Bitcoin's continued lower price action, right? Or price action to lower prices. I don't know why I can't say that in English. So yeah, weekly money flow cross. We don't really want this to be bullish, right? And again, this is the higher time frame. Doesn't mean you can't pull back, see Bitcoin get little bounces, but over the long haul, right? What would I be expecting here? I would be expecting money flows in the green, red dot. Maybe you pull back, higher low, higher high would be the anticipation with your money flow crossing into the green. Low, high, higher low, higher high. This could be short-term good for Bitcoin, but long-term, if I'm looking for a continuation up on this, probably going to continue down on Bitcoin. So that's my opinion there. Not saying that if you're seeing on a lower time frame that maybe you're overbought on the RSI or something. Could be the case, right? Like I said, your 4-hour, like even your 5-hour money flow just crossed into the red. 6-hour money flow just crossing into the red. So maybe locally you get a little push to the downside. But again, when it comes to like the longer term, when we talk about the weekly money flow on Bitcoin coming into the red, it's not uncommon to see the weekly money flow on dominance coming into the green on USDT. So there you go. So he said he's looking at the weekly. So the RSI is more indicative of the momentum waves, right? And this is why I love Market Cipher B. Let me just pull up the RSI, right? Why not? So yeah, right, you're overbought, a little bit overbought here on the RSI, right, which of course could mean you get an ebb flow to the downside. But again, money flow indicates the overall trend, right? Momentum wave overbought, RSI overbought. But just because it's overbought here does not mean that the trend will continue down. It just means you might get a pullback, and the money flow coming up would indicate to me, right, not that it has to play out 100% of the time, but this would indicate to me that it would be a pullback for a higher low and a higher high eventually, which again would be the same thing on Bitcoin. If I'm looking for a low, if I'm looking for a high, a lower high, a high, a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high on dominance, it makes a lot of sense that when we look at Bitcoin, I'm looking for, if we get a bounce, right, we have a high, a low, maybe we get a relief rally for a lower high and a lower low, right? This would obviously be somewhat inverse to Bitcoin. So yeah, it's basically just an inverse chart to Bitcoin. So there you go. There's my opinion on USDT dominance. Shout out to Dennis, said, Frankie, when you look at price action, what do you trust more, the chart itself or what Market Cipher B shows us? I just use Market Cipher B as confluence, right? So it's not that I trust one thing over another. It's also very complex, right? Like depending on the environment that we're in, sometimes I'm not trusting money flow as much, right? When it comes to a higher time frame, again, just to kind of show you guys why this signal is so worrying to me is because it is a very rare signal. Right? If I pull up the Bitstamp chart to get a little more price history here, we have had 1, 2, 3 major weekly money flow crossovers on Bitcoin ever since 2014, right? Basically the inception. Obviously, it goes back a little further, but as far as Market Cipher B's information, first crossover was the bear market of 2014. Second crossover on the weekly was the bear market of 2018. Third crossover on the weekly was the bear market of 2021, and now we are just seeing the rare signal of money flow about to cross into the red. So when it comes to a higher time frame, this is very significant to me. Doesn't mean it can't fake out. It doesn't mean it can't do something we've never seen. But again, right, you could have thought that here. You could have thought that here. You could have thought that here. When I look at this, my thoughts are, hey, guys, is it impossible to go to new all-time highs? No, right? Maybe we did. I could have been wrong there. But the higher probability, not 100% certainty, higher probability is a lower high and a lower low. And it winds up being right over time. So, again, 3 of these signals have ever printed on Bitcoin. It is about to happen for the 4th time since 2014. That's how rare these signals are. So that's why I see this as concerning. Not concerning as in Bitcoin's going to die, right? But just concerning as, we might be seeing 70 to 67, 8 somewhat soon, right? The hope here is that you can get some kind of relief rally, right? I'm not naive to the fact that maybe you get the relief rally first. But again, right, I'm just sitting here waiting. If we get the relief rally, I have all those resistances that we brought up for potential lower highs and lower lows. If we get the push up, whether it's to 91, 92.5, 95 to 98K, or 102 to 105K, these are all areas that you could still put in a lower high and a lower low. So until we really see everything turn around, that is going to be my base case there. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Shout out to John Newton, says 545 people with only 145 likes. No bueno. Smash that like button if you appreciate the sauce. Shout out to John Newton. Smash that like button, guys. Let's go for 150 likes. Smash that like button, guys. Talk about bear market, right? It's like one of the biggest indications. We have like half the viewership of as normal. I think it's more indicative of sideways price action than it is of downward price action, because honestly, some of our best performing streams are when price is dumping, right? People are panicking, but it just shows you the level of disinterest that people have in crypto right now. It's just because nothing is happening. They check the chart, they get off the chart for a month, they come back and they're like, oh, we're still in the same spot. Who cares, right? So smash that like button. We need it, guys. Please, for the love of God. Frankie, but the green dot on the weekly is confirmed and is a hidden bullish divergence. Up is kind of more probable than not, right? Shout out to Dennis. Again, right, could that indicate, right? I see what you're looking at, right? Could this indicate a little relief, right? Sure, right? Maybe. But again, a bullish divergence with money flow coming out is never going to be as strong as a bullish divergence with money flow coming up, right? If we had massive weekly money flow in the red and then a hidden bullish divergence with weekly money flow coming up, I'd feel a lot better about a big move to the upside. It's really all about the money flow and the overall trend for me right now. So yes, right, like you have honestly, look at this green dot. This green dot printed on the 15th of December, right? Literally 15 days ago. And it didn't do anything. You basically just gone down since then. So I'm not saying that it can't have like a late play out, but it would not trump the money flow coming out for me. And that's not me saying it's impossible, right? It's just me saying the higher probability is, lackluster bounce, continuation, even if we get the bigger dump, right? It doesn't step on the money flow coming out. Money flow indicates the overall trend. If you're new here, money flow indicates the overall trend. These green and red dots indicate the ebbs and flows in the market. You want to identify the environment that you're in. Right now, we are in on the weekly, potentially the start of a bigger downtrend, right? But even on the daily, right, we're in a bearish environment, right? So the green and red dots, even on a weekly, right, like maybe you get the continuation down, weekly green dot, sure, that could give you a push to the upside, but that money flow, this is your zero line. If money flow is coming out, the anticipation is the green dots on the weekly would be ebbs or flows to the upside before rolling over to continue the overall trend, right? And again, I show it on 2021 constantly. There's your weekly money flow coming out. The anticipation would be the trend continues down. It doesn't mean that we don't look for the bounces when we hit support and we get green dots, right? And actually, it's hilariously enough, there's your hidden bullish divergence, right? Money flow comes out. Could you say that divergence gave you a push up? Of course. Is that a significant move up? I mean, hey, it's a 46% bounce, but it does not trump that money flow. The overall trend continuation is going to be much higher to go with the money flow. The probability is much higher. So that's kind of, I would view it the same way, right? If we do get a relief bounce, hey, maybe you could look at that hidden bullish divergence as a signal that was potentially pointing towards that, but I would still be looking at it as something like that. I don't really have a strong bias for the relief rally coming in first or getting the dump down first. I am just sitting on my hands. I'm positioned in the long already. If we get the push up, great. My long continues to play out. If not, and we get the rollover, just like MicroStrategy didn't get the support here, I'll just be waiting for the next level to catch the next, lower time frame long. So yeah, it's all about trend, right? So maybe that hidden bullish divergence, right? It's almost exactly the same, right? I'll do it one more time here. I do this almost every day. Pull the fractal, right? It's almost the exact same thing, right? So maybe we do see something like this play out. And then maybe that's your weekly hidden bullish divergence playing out. But again, does not trump that money flow coming out. So, but you 100% are correct. There is a hidden bull div there. And you do have the green dot confirmed, right? So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to TDKZ. It's always the OGs that turn up every day and every premium. We don't need anything else apart from each other. Shout out to TDK. It's the OGs here. And hey, if you're here, if you're here, pat yourself on the back, guys. If you are sticking through this price action, these are the people who were rewarded in the bull markets, right? If you've been watching my channel ever since the last bear market, you guys know I started my channel like right in here, right? All the people that stuck around through this price action are all the people I see in the chat like, oh my God, we made it. Look at us go, right? And, this is where you want to pay attention to Bitcoin. This is where the opportunity is. The opportunity is not on the way up, right? That is where you realize the opportunity. The actual opportunity that you take is on the moves to the downside. So if you're here, just understand, if you were a part of the people, the group that bought in at the top last time and round tripped your bags, and you are here now, potentially here for the big drop, you are going to be one of those people in the next cycle that are here at the right time before the next big move up. People here now are the ones that get rewarded, right? It's like that illustration, right? It's like Bitcoin 15,000. There's like one person in line. Bitcoin at 100,000. Everybody's lined up through the door, right? That guy that bought at 15,000, he's one of the few. But when he's buying at 15K, he's making all the money, right? Everyone else is kind of buying in at the tops. The real profit is the friends that we made along the way. Shout out to Panda the Prophet. Absolutely. Shout out to Independence says we already closed 4 weeks under the 50-week moving average. And, of course, that was one of the big things that we looked at. Pull up that 50-week moving average. And, of course, guys, if something changes, right, and we see some massive – if the chart starts looking massively bullish, we'll talk about it. I have no choice but to talk about that. It's just I don't really have much to talk about other than the bearish case here, and I hate talking about it because it's like we cover it once. No one wants to hear it. But, it matters, right? It's very important. I feel a responsibility to come up here and, honestly talk about what I see on the charts. And I never tell you that it's 100% probability, obviously, because I could be wrong. I could have been wrong back here. But guess what? The probabilities were in our favor. They wound up playing out, right? But typically, once you close 1 to 2 weekly candles below that 50-week moving average, it indicates that the top is in, at least significantly, right? Back here. You close 2 candles, sure, you get a little pop back up, but eventually you just lose it, bearish retest, back down. 2017, 2 weekly candle closures, can't get back above, massive move down. Right? And again, it doesn't need to be a traditional 4-year cycle bear market, but it is a bearish situation, right? It's very different than when we were touching the 50-week moving average down here. We were testing it as support. And we had massive bullish confirmations, right? We had the massive 2-day, the daily and 2-day bullish divergences. I think we even had a 3-day bullish divergence down here. Yeah, like you have the bull divs forming here, right? And when you look at the daily and the 2-day, right, money flow decides to come back up. Plus, you have a lot of time left in the cycle. You didn't lose the 50-week moving average, but we're in a different situation now. We've lost, like it's lost. We lost it, right? If you wanted, in my opinion, right, if we were going to see a move back up to all-time highs, right, you needed to hold this 50-week moving average, right? And more importantly, the actual key level we looked at was the $108,000 value area high, right? Before we even had to deal with the Before we had to deal with the 50-week moving average, we had this value area high at about $108,000. Try to get that same profile to pull up here. $108,000, right? It's not going to be exactly the same because I'm on Bitstamp, but we had the value area high at 108K. We knew once we lost this with high time frame money flow coming out, it's very likely to fill this entire volume profile. So now we've lost everything. We've lost the value area high. We've lost the 50-week moving average. So, if we get the rally up, right, it's not like we're bouncing off key support. We're pushing into massive resistance, right? The key support is now going to flip into massive resistance. And you have all the insult to injury here with the money flow coming out. As soon as we see something different, we get back above that 50-week, money flow turns around, we can start looking for higher prices. But we just don't have that right now. We don't even have the bull divs, right? I would at least want to see that. Shout out to Panda the Prophet. Frankie, all cryptos are going to $1 million. We need the likes. Shout out to Panda the Prophet. Guys, every altcoin, Bitcoin, everything is going to at least 500x in the next day. Smash that like button. That's what I know what everybody wants to hear, man. I know they just want me to. There it is, guys. Bottoms in. All-time highs. Smash the like button. Thank you for everything over the years. Shout out to Nathan. No problem, bro. No problem. Stay blessed. Shout out to you, man. I'm just up here doing what I love, man. I wouldn't have it any other way. I've had my limit order set. I don't trade charts like these. I'd rather wait for safer trades. Shout out to Imagination of Innocence. I like that, brother. I like that. I think a lot of the big thing that a lot of people do is they're just too, especially for long-term bags, right? It's just, it's different. I'm a leverage trader, right? So when we get little local trades, right? I don't even remember when right before I left for Christmas, I forget where the short was. I took a short, set my take profit overnight. I was able to catch the move. I made $1,300 while I was sleeping. But we don't need the big moves, right? It's just a little move up and down. So for the day trades, the scalps, all that stuff, there's plenty of money to be had. That's active income, right? But for spot bags, I think people just like to be too active. They're like, oh, let me buy low, let me try to sell high. When just overall, they were just better off waiting for those bigger levels, waiting for the more, safer setups, like you said. A lot of people, I think, a lot of people just chop up their bags by just wanting to be too active. I've seen so many times people in my personal life, I'll never forget this. When XRP was mooning back here in 2024, so many people were like, oh my God, XRP is mooning. I'm going to sell my altcoins that aren't moving and buy into XRP. And it's dude, I try to tell them, you missed the move here, right? If you're not already in, this is not the place to buy. It doesn't mean it can't continue up, right? But it's just not the best time to buy. You've already missed a significant move up. And then a lot of times what will happen is they'll sell their altcoins that haven't moved, buy an altcoin that's already moved, and then they're selling low and buying high, right? They're selling their altcoins either at a loss or, maybe a break even or something, and then they're buying into something that they've already missed the move on. They're just too active, right? If they had just sat on their altcoin, probably would follow suit, right? They were just better off being patient more often than not. Shout out to DK Insight, alt season soon. 2025 means still going strong. Yeah. Brutal. Let's see. Do I play chess? Shout out to Lost. I do not play chess. I was in a chess club when I was in elementary school, but no, I don't actively play chess. Maybe I should. Chess would be much more exciting than this price action. Shout out to Dennis. Said, just so you know, there is no other crypto influencer interacting so good with his audience as you. You take the questions and develop them with your knowledge. No one does that, only you. Shout out to Dennis. Hey, that's what we do here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. I'm here to actually educate, right? And that's what I love. I love seeing chats in here. Frankie, you helped me. Oh my God, Frankie, I saw that key level. I learned from you what you look for to enter trades. I found my own setup. I took the trade. I made money. Thank you. We've had so many awesome stories on this channel of people buying cars, literally sending their kids to college from what they've learned. Not from taking a signal from me, but from taking what I've learned. They put in the work. They apply it. They practice. They backtest. They learn. And they're able to be successful. So, yeah, that's what we do here. Shout out to Dennis, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to Neon Visual. Said, the market is the pawns. Shout out to Neon Visual. Yeah, it's Frankie do be cooking. Shout out to John Newton. 500x on the next day. Yes, shout out to DK Insight. Everything's 5xing tomorrow. Smash the like button. I'm kidding, guys. Obviously, just joking. Oh, by the way, guys, the Warbucks winners, right? Anybody who was in the entered to win the giveaways for the funded accounts, Warbucks video is still live. You guys still have a chance to enter that. We're going to announce the winners on Friday. We'll announce them on the live stream. We'll also drop them in the free Discord. We'll put an announcement up with all the winners. We're giving away 5 $5,000 funded challenges and 1 $10,000 instant funded account. All you got to do is watch the video, like the video, be a subscriber, and drop a comment to enter that video. You still have a few days to do that, and then we'll announce the winners on Friday. I think Tony D pinned the link to the top of the chat. Yeah, there it is. So you can just go ahead or just go look for the. You'll see it. It says, I think it says $10,000 funded account giveaway or something. Go watch that video and check it out. Playing split screen Halo with Ray Charles would be more exciting than this price action. Shout out to Boss Sloth. 100%, bro. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, it's kind of tough for me, man. Like, I especially with everybody that shows up to the live streams right now, you guys have probably, like, already heard the levels. We've talked about them every single day. Like, until price moves, it's the only thing I can look at. We got to do something different. Maybe we'll start gambling on the 1 second time frame or something. Or maybe we'll just start giving away something. I don't know. We got to figure out something fun to do on these boring streams. I want to win so bad. Shout out to the River. Well, we're rooting for you, brother. We're rooting for you. And there's a pretty good amount of giveaways there. I'm giving away 11 accounts, so or 10 challenges in one instant funded account. Yeah, shout out to Jose said maybe you get a 500x if you shorted Litecoin. Yeah. Actually, I will take a quick look at Zcash here because we have taken a look at Zcash. If you guys take a look here real quick. One of the things that we looked at on Zcash, right? Daily money flow coming out over time, right? This money flow wave kind of went flat a little bit, and it's continuing out. This actually reminds me of Bitcoin on the daily back here, right? Kind of comes down, goes flat, wiggles around, eventually comes out. We got one more scam up, and then it gets the big dump. On Zcash, one of the big things that we were looking at, I'll actually pull up the chart that we already had. Obviously, we saw the daily bearish divergences. Looking for the pullback, we had the golden pocket 786 right down here as the key level of support to look for a potential bounce. And then when we got down here, we talked about how if we were gonna be looking for, is this a place to look for a retest for a higher low and a massive higher high, or is this going to be a place to look at for a lackluster bounce for a lower high and a continuation down? And we had some major key levels here. Obviously got the bounce off the 786 for the retracement. I'll take that off the chart as of right now. Also had the anchored VWAP there. But when we pull our Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low, you can see we are pushing into that golden pocket. If I get rid of this volume profile, just to make it a little bit simpler for you guys, there's your first major level. Right, so we got the high, the low, potential lower high forming with your money flow coming out generally on the daily time frame. Two biggest levels I'd be looking at for potential shorts on Zcash. I'll just give a little freebie here. Not a trade signal, not financial advice, just something I would look at for a projection. I won't even talk about it in the sense of a trade. I'll just say for reactions. This would be a key level. Golden pocket retracement, right? And I'll even take that little value area low off, right? Golden pocket might even have some like MPOCs in here as well, potentially. It already smashed that daily. Let's check the weekly. No weekly. All right, so no MPOCs. Scratch that. But if I'm looking for a high, a low, a lower high, and a potential lower low, right, meaning cracking this low down here to push into the value area high at about 239.34, this would be key level number one. Key level number two, if you don't get the rejection at the golden pocket, the next place to look would be the 786. This 786 does sit. All right, we're currently rejecting the golden pocket, as you can see. 786 value area high sits between about 622.62 and 639.43. These are the two biggest levels to look at if we want to see lower highs and lower lows. Lower highs, lower lows. High, low, lower high, lower low, low, high, higher, lower high, high, low, lower high, lower low. Once we flip that 786 value area high, that thought process would be invalidated, and you would look for a bigger push to the upside. But I just, seeing this money flow continuing to trend out here, we waited for this, right? We talked about the situation. We're here. Alert, alert, beep, beep, beep. Trading view alert going off, right? There's the key level. And then even if we look locally here, right, look at this potential 4-hour bearish divergence printing into the golden pocket. All right, maybe we can get a little bit of a pullback. Even if you were look for this rejection, right, and we do continue up to the 786, if you print that 4-hour bearish divergence, this is what I would look for the drop to the downside. Plenty of room, right? Obviously, this is an altcoin, right? So an 8% move down, even if you're gonna get a bounce and continue up, could potentially just take profit, move your stop loss to break even, stop out in profit, and then just look for that next rejection at the 786. But there we go. Will we get the rejection? We'll see. Maybe we won't. Will it dump? Second level will be up here. So we just looked at this on a live stream, and I took a look at it today, and I was like, oh, there's the golden pocket getting tapped. Shout out to Crimson, Crypto Crimson, or Crimson Caravan Company in the chat. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's take a look at Litecoin real quick. This is not our Litecoin chart. There it is. All right, so obviously got a little support there, but you got the big liquidation wick. This is old. This is old. Yeah, and I'm not going to stick too much on the altcoins, guys, as per usual here in this environment. We're back inside our value area. In my opinion, right, there's your deviation above the high, back into the range. Next likely place for price to go is the POC, and then into the value area low, where we clearly had some confluence here on the blue box. Got the bounce, back above the high, back into the range, got a little dip, wound up getting another push up. I'm looking at this as another deviation above the high, all right? This is where you want to be looking for shorts. This is where you want to look for shorts. This is where you want to look for shorts. This is where you want to look for shorts. This is where you want to look for shorts within a volume profile. Deviate above, back in, POC, value area low. Deviate below the low, back in, hold the value area low, back to the POC. Back to the high, bearish divergences, back in, POC, eventually the value area low. Deviation, back in. Highest probability is to move to the POC, push to the high, deviation above, back in, POC, value area low. So I'm just going to be looking at this as a simple volume profile. What does that say to me? Well, hey, deviation above, back in, can't break out. POC looks pretty likely to get tapped here, in my opinion. Taking a look at the weekly time frame, look at your money flow. Money flow is trending out. This would be indicative of an overall continuation of the trend. So until we break out of this value area high at about $100, $100, right? $100.39. If you can't break out of $100, right, could be a lower high to eventually see the POC and the value area low. And again, you know, you have the green dot printing here. Maybe you got a 10-hour money flow crossover. Not really, right? So not a ton of confluence for a big pump up. But overall, I would just be viewing this as a volume profile. POC's high probability. Maybe we get a bounce there. Once you lose the POC, I'd be looking to go down to the value area low. You also have the fill the wick situation there as well. So if we do continue down, the biggest levels to look at on Litecoin, 70.84 down to the value area low at 59.50. Same thing on Cardano, right? We talked about this last week. Get back into the range. We knew, we literally had our box set here between the value area high between 54 cents and these lows at about 50 cents. Once you lose that, what are we looking for price to do? Well, you look to go to the POC. You'll lose the value area high. The highest probability in that at that point is to come down to the POC. That is the magnet on the price. That is the magnet on the chart there. Can't get at, this is acceptance. Here's your fair value. Once you look to bing bong back and forth. Once you get accepted back in here, you look to go to the POC. Very high probability target. This is why the volume profiles are so helpful. Lose the POC, looking for the move down to the value area low. If we can't reclaim this POC, the next high probability target is going to be about 28 cents. Doesn't mean you know, it's not always a clean move, right? It's not always go from the high to the POC, instant drop down. Sometimes you can get retracements, but overall, look at your weekly money flow. It's in the red. That would make me anticipate lower highs and lower lows, even if we push back up to the value area high. And for me personally, I would say that idea is not really invalidated until we can get not only above this 786 and accepted back into this upper value, but I would like to get above the POC, right? So even if we got like a significant rally here, maybe Bitcoin gets the retracement, dominance dumps, alts get the rally, I would be very careful around these retracements. It could still be high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, based off your weekly money flow. But until we break out of here, I would just be saying, hey, I mean, if we can't reclaim this POC, maybe you do get the quick move down, right? Volume profiles for the win. I'd be much more... Like, would I look for a long here? Not really, right? I'm not saying you can't bounce here. I'm just saying for me personally, right, I'm either going to look to long the POC. Like right here, you're below the POC. I would not long right into resistance. I would much rather wait for the value area low. Yo, shout out to Mason. Says, just finished watching the BTC chart. I'm going to go put in my Subway application. No need for the Subway application, brother. We can make money as price goes down. I feel you. Oh, shout out to VK said, Frankie, I saw you hit that N up there. Good eye, bro. I saw you hit the N up there to get the MPOCs. Is that a setting or is it custom? This is a template. So yeah, when I look for MPOCs, for example, if I want to find my monthly naked points of controls, I could just click this N on my chart, and then those naked points of controls pop up. I have a tutorial on the channel to show you how to do that. I believe it's in the Watch Through the Whole Beginner series. One of the videos shows you exactly not only how to find naked points of controls, but how to set that template up so you can just have it very easy. And you could do this for anything, right? Like if I just want a clean chart, no indicators, no nothing, I click the 0, clean chart, just price action. If I want to see Market Cipher B, I click Market Cipher, boom, now I got Market Cipher B. If I want to see Lux Algo, I click Lux Algo, boom. There we go. I have my Lux Algo template, right? And then I also have a volume-based template, which pulls out my VPVR, as well as my session volume profiles, which you can't see because we're on a higher time frame here. And then this one is a TPO profile, which I've literally never used. So just ignore that one. But yeah, it's a custom template. And again, I have a tutorial showing you how to do that. Oh, it's me, Masnokas. Shout out to Masnokas. Yeah, YouTube messing us up here with the handles here. Short stream. Shout out to Servando Estrada. Yeah, we probably are going to. Oh, there's the MPOC video. Thank you, Tony. Tony dropping that. I appreciate that, bro. So you can just go ahead and click that link and watch how to do that. Shout out to Methodical Marcus. Thank you for the super chat. Says he wants to see the aluminium chart. I don't look at the aluminium chart. Hopefully this is it. I don't know the exact ticker. This has got to be it, right? Yeah, I mean, it looks like metals, guys. Metals was the, again, like this is, we need these to stop pumping for Bitcoin, right? If we can get, maybe gold, silver to top out, maybe we can start to see some of that money flow into crypto. But obviously, they're just screaming to the upside. This is obviously somewhat similar. I can give you the key levels for this. I try to take a look at Market Cipher B. I don't know. Again, I'm a crypto trader. Market Cipher will work on any asset commodity, doesn't matter. But they do all behave differently, right? Like crypto oscillates a lot more frequently because it's much more volatile. But of course, right, money flow crosses green, trend to the upside continues. Money flow crosses red, downtrend, that kind of continues. But I can give you some potential key levels here. I'm going to do this very quickly because I'm sure this is not a common thing that a lot of people want to see, but we'll just go ahead. You got a little VP right here, and I'll mark it off with horizontal raise so you can actually get the levels here. You can mark it off on your chart. There's your value area high, your POC, value area low. So we are leaving this volume profile on increasing money flow. So what do we say when you have somewhat of a balanced area, right, or a volume profile or fair value on the asset? You break out, right? We have imbalance. Where is price going to gravitate to? It's probably going to gravitate towards previous fair value, which, in my opinion, hard to say, right? Because this is not a very clean profile here. Yeah, look at that. You flip the POC as you break out. So I will give you some targets here. Pull to the lower high. Just pull this for my reference. So yeah, I don't love this profile, but you do have golden pocket confluence here on the value area high. So there's a key level between 3101 and about 3158. 786 sits at about 3367. So that would end. Let me see if I can. Let me just see something here. I'm not going to walk you guys through this exactly, but I just want to see something. If I can get confluence on these fib levels up here, I would definitely be paying attention to this. There you go. So I would say the next big level, right? Like, so you had this Fibonacci extension, rejected, little rejection. You get in here, play around. Now you're breaking above this level. If you continue up, 3,031 up to about 3,163 would be the next level to look at. And it's not that I would ignore this lower profile, but right as you leave this profile, right, it's not going to be as important or as significant, right? So let me just see something here. Boom, 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 boom. So I'll just separate this into a folder. So here's your larger value area. Again, I'm not a super big fan of this one just because it's kind of wonky, but it is still fair value. And I'll just drag this into a folder as well. So there you go. this is what I would look at as of right now, right? You're flip that value area low, get above the POC, right? Just like any typical volume profile, right? Money flow comes up, flip the value area low to support. Once you're above the value area low, POC is very likely. You already got that. Once you flip the POC, next major target would be the value area high, which, again, you do have confluence on. So I would say sitting right here between about 3,027 and 3,163 would be the next major target to the upside. So there you go. Hey, shout out to Rat IRL. Welcome in. Says, bing bong. Here. What's up, Frankie? Shout out to you. Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Dying to know your thoughts on Quant. We could take a look at Quant. Let's see here. So, could probably extend this profile. Doesn't change it too much, but still valid. Yeah, I mean, you're losing your profile here. This is the only real profile that I can look at, if I'm being totally honest. Very clean. Deviation above the high, back into the range. POC, dip to the value area low. Retest of the POC, back down. Deviation below, back in. Flip the value area low. POC is next. Get above the POC. Stay inside the profile. I assume this was the value area high before I moved it to current price. Hit the value area high, back to the POC, lose the POC, back to the low, deviation below. This is the biggest level to flip right here. Value area low, 83.58. Other than that, I would be stuck looking at like local profiles, right? Which, if I can give you some other levels to the downside here, right? You can just see how this just lands perfectly on price, right? Look at that bounce off the value area low. Value area low, POC, value area high. So at the end of the day, right, if you could flip 83.58, right, that would be your doorway into the POC. But, you know, if we're going to continue to lose this, take a look at the weekly. Choppy money flow. Again, I think a lot of people ask when they want altcoins, they're like hoping for some kind of, like, this looks different than everything else. Send it to the moon. But I would just say this is the local range I would be paying attention to. You're inside your value, right? We lose this. This is the only other value area I can look at. You could even see here, you deviate below, you can't get out, back to the POC, back to the low, bounce off the low, fill the range in full. Eventually, you reclaim this upper value area, wind up filling it in full. And just to kind of, let's see here, right? Yeah, so I guess you did technically front run that value area high. But this would be the local range down below, right? So the next key levels of support, I could try to pull this fib from the low to the high. Oh, look at that, 786 confluence down here. This would be your next biggest level of support. And the reason I'm looking at this over the golden pocket is because of the confluence, right? You have a golden pocket at the end of the day, right? That is support, but it's just floating in the middle of nothing, right? Like, we don't really have confluence here unless you have a daily MPOC or something, which you're not going to because this wick took everything out. So never mind that. So you do have the golden pocket sitting here between 67.21 and 65.70. If you can't hold that, again, I would just, with the acceptance into this range, I would probably still be expecting a fulfill that volume profile. So you do have this level here, but I would definitely prefer this 786, right? Like, if you can't break out of this range, right? If you just here can't break out, POC could be next, right? You have that magnetic level at the POC starting at about 62.54. If you lose that, 786 value area low at about 59.40. I'd feel much more comfortable seeing the bigger move down here and looking for massive moves up. There's nothing on here that says, oh my God, this looks so much better than everything else or anything like that. If everything else chops, this is probably going to chop. If everything else drops, this is probably going to drop. And that would be the key level to look at, in my opinion. So there you go. There is Quant. Shout out to Jose. He said, thanks for all the free information, Frankie. It's probably taken the past year of me watching the market just to get a decent feel for how it makes, how it likes to move. It's simple, but deceptively tricky. Absolutely, right? Trading is simple, guys. Trading is so simple. You buy low, you sell high. Simple. If only it were that easy, right? Because you're never just going to, perfect dump, perfect signal for a guaranteed move to the upside, right? It's never that easy. And that's what it takes time. It's a learning journey. You're never going to be able to find one indicator, one strategy that's going to give you 100% probability, and you're never just going to be able to jump on the charts and like print money infinitely with no worry or no stress or 100% guarantee. It's just not possible. The best traders in the world aren't able to do that, right? And simple is not easy, right? I always compare it to working out. Getting in shape is easy. Eat right, work out consistently. Simple, right? Not easy. It's not, going to the gym every day consistently is not easy. It's simple, you know what you have to do, but it's just not easy in practice, right? You're tired. You had a long day at work. It's harder to get to the gym that day, right? That's where discipline comes in, just like in trading, right? Discipline is very important. So it's the same thing, right? So you have to understand, like, it's not always going to be a perfect bounce with a perfect straight line to the upside right into your target. You're going to have all this internal structure. Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, let's go. And eventually, right, you can look over time and say, oh, okay, well, hey, that is a, maybe it's a internal wave inside a larger wave. It's never that simple. So yeah, absolutely, right? It takes time to look at this, learn how the market moves. The fundamentals are easy, right? The strategies are somewhat simple, but executing it is not easy by any means. It can be simple, but not easy, if that makes sense, right? I think working out is the best example, right? Like, it's easy. Eat right, work out. Simple, but not easy, right? Shout out to BTC Bill with the Frankie Candles memberships. We can't flash the lights, guys, because I spilt an entire Starbucks coffee all over my desk today, and I covered the remote, and that is now drying out. So shout out to BTC Bill. Thank you so much for those memberships. I appreciate you so much, bro. You show so much love to the channel, man. I'm extremely grateful for you, man. Selfless. BTC Bill is selfless. Drop the German short hair pointer emoji if you just got a membership. Let's go. Amina, we got Amina back with a membership. We got DK with a membership. Let's go. Thank BTC Bill with a German short hair pointer emoji. Let's go. Shout out to Andre. Says, I think this way, in my opinion, it would be convenient. It would not be convenient for anyone if the market went down at this moment and there was a small percentage of loss/gain compared to a big rebound upwards. A lot of times the most inconvenient thing is what happens. But yeah, again, it's an if this then that for me, right? I obviously do lean bearish longer term. A lot of people are going to say, right, oh my God, what happened? I thought we were bearish, right? Like, that doesn't invalidate the longer term theory there. Again, I would have to see very specific things up here for me to flip. Like, hey guys, this looks really good. Screw it. Bearish sentiment's off the table. Let's look up. But yeah, for me personally, I'm just waiting to come up to the higher levels or the lower levels. Again, not naive to the fact that we can get the retracement. But again, longer term sentiment remains the same. This is just like I just don't want to repeat the same thing, right? It's just like every day until we break out of here. There's not really going to be a lot to talk about. Shout out to Dessert, I think is what that says. Says, oh man, Candles, I did it again. I had a few hundred on a low cap meme gain. Had me over 10K and held it all the way back down for the 30+ time. Shout out to you, man. There it is. Simple, not easy. Look at that. I just made 10 grand. And then it all disappears. Emotion and discipline is the secret to trading. There's no secret indicator. There's no secret coin. You got to take the profits when they're there. Don't feel too bad. The fact that you recognize that as an issue puts you ahead of most people. Most people just be like, oh, it's all a scam. It's not my fault. It's something else's fault. It's the meme coin's fault. It's the person who told me about the meme coin's fault. But if that was the case, you wouldn't have made 10K, right? So yeah, it's a tale as old as time. So don't feel too bad about it, bro. The fact that you identify that is huge. Puts you ahead of most people. Now just try to, again, why don't you take profit at 10K? Well, it's probably because you're thinking, well, this is going to be 20K soon. And I've made that exact same, infamously, I turned 150 into like 20 grand, maybe 15 grand, 20 grand, something like that on SafeMoon. Should have taken the profits. I'm like, nah, this is going to be 100 grand in no time. I'd be an idiot to sell here. And now that is worth, I actually think it's still in profit if I'm not mistaken. I bought SafeMoon like the day it came out. But it's like $200, I think. I don't know. I haven't even checked it. But I've made those mistakes as well. I don't make them anymore, but it's because I've learned the hard lessons. Shout out to Rick G. Says, longtime viewer, first time posting. Love the info you provide. Could you take a look at PLT, or is that Palantir? Weekly, monthly, much love. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Weekly and monthly. I'll just give you the weekly and monthly levels. Just mark them off real quick before we move on. So we got a weekly level sitting right here. Got a weekly level. I'm going to pull it to that higher candle sitting right there. Another weekly candle. Tapped. Weekly level sitting there. So I'll give you one more, right? I'm not gonna pull off I'm not gonna pull up every single one. It's a little hard because that candle, these are not even, but just do this. Bada boom, bada bing. There's your weeklies. Pull up the monthlies. You got one right there. Speed TA. Here we go. Yeah, it's hard, right? Like when you don't have the even bodies, it's like I prefer to pull it from the higher level. But you can see here, you actually did wind up projecting the lower one. You got another one. That's tapped. You got one right here. So there you go. Again, this is super far away. So you do have a monthly up here at 205.05, untapped. You got a monthly down here at 84.40, untapped. Between 84.40 and 83.89. I'm just going to pull it to the lower candle. 83.89, 205.05. And then your weekly has your closest weekly to the downside is sitting here between 154.85 and 157.47. And then you got this one down here at about 134.36. To the upside, you got 195.04 and 205.05. So those are the horizontals I would look at. Try to pull some MPOCs. Yeah, you got confluence there on the weekly. Another confluence here on an MPOC. I'm not going to mark them off. I'm just going to say this weekly at 195.34 has confluence with the weekly MPOC. The weekly here at 134.49 has a little bit of confluence here at 130.42. Take a look at the monthlies. Yeah, you got a monthly MPOC at 93.27. That's worth marking out. There you go. And you got no monthly MPOC to the upside. You got another monthly MPOC all the way down here at about 61.42. So there you go. You can rewatch this, get those on your chart. That's what I'd be looking at as far as your key resistance and support on the higher time frames. We could try to pull some fibs as well. See if you have confluence there. So you have 786 at 96.86. So that would be a interesting level. You got MPOC and large, significant Fibonacci confluence there. So, I would say call it 95 to 92.68. So there you go. That's what I would look at. You're going to have to rewatch that to get those on your chart. But that's what I would look at. Those are your high time frame supports and resistances. Shout out to Jose, said, you'll never take profit when you're in the green. You will round trip the same trade 3 times. You will get shaken out when you got a good entry and take $40 profit instead of getting $400. Shout out to Jose. Very common, very common. And that's why I say you want to preset, right? Preset your take profits, right? If you don't have the discipline to take them on your own, right? Or, if you go to sleep or something. In my example, again, I don't remember exactly when it was. I could try to find out here. When did I leave? Wasn't here. I think it was this short here. Preset your take profits, right? Within a volume profile, it's very simple, right? If you're looking at this as your volume profile, you short above the high, you're looking for a move to the POC in the value area low. Let's say you take your entry up here, right? Very simple. Stop loss above the high, whatever. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel here. But at this point, right, maybe you want to, depending on how big of a distance it is to the value area low. What is this? 0.80%. That's not what I would look for. I would look for at least a 1% move. So take profit number one would be the POC of the range, right? You could take 30% off, 20% off, 50% off. Just to keep things simple, let's just say 50% TP at the point of control, 50% TP at the value area low. Once you take that trade, you don't get stopped out, right? Just let it run. Force yourself to take the profit. If you can't take it, preset your take profit. Every exchange, WEX, FEMEX, Blowfin, they all have presettable take profits. So it literally takes the decision out of your hands, right? Because once you start, you're like, oh my God, we're at the value, we're dumping. I was so good. I'm a genius. It's gonna go lower. I don't want to take the 400 profit. I don't want to take the. I'm gonna make 1,000 if it keeps going down. You're not gonna take any profit, and what's gonna happen? You're gonna hit support, get the move back up to the high, and you're like, oh man, maybe get stopped out at break even, whatever happens, right? You're gonna make less money at the end of the day. Preset your take profits, and within a volume profile, it's very simple. Deviate above the high, POC is your first target, value area low is your second target. If you're longing from the value area low, first target's the POC, 50% out. Second take profit will be the value area high. Deviate above the high, right? I'm not going to, I don't know where your exact entry is going to be, right? I'm not even saying it would be a great setup, but TP1, POC, TP2, value area low, right? Preset them, right? If you cannot have the discipline to take the profit yourself, take it out. Make the bot do it, right? Make the exchange do it. And then, when you wake up, right, let's just say you take a trade here, you make $500. And then you're out of the trade and price continues down. Don't care about this. Missed gains are none of your business, right? It's none of your business. You knew the trade was from the value area high to the value area low. Take that money because this is repeatable. It doesn't matter if it doesn't turn into a Grand Slam trade. Now, of course, we discuss techniques constantly on this channel on how you can take the trade, take partial profits, move your stop loss to break even, take partial profits, and still have an opportunity to hold the rest of the trade for more gains, right? There's a way you can do that. I'm not going to go over it in full because we're running out of time here. But at the end of the day, right, who cares if this nukes to the downside? You had a high probability trade from above the value area to the low, lock in your profits. You have a nice trade here from the value area low to the value area high, lock in your profits. You're better off locking in, let's just say $400 here, $250 here, right? And whether this nukes to the downside and this rips to the upside and you miss out on extra gains, guess what? You made $400, you made $250. You don't need to make 10K in a day. You don't need to make 5K in a day. And I know it's hard to watch other people make that much money, right? But don't compare yourself to other people. At the end of the day, you really only need like $200 a day to replace a full-time job. So don't start small, right? Start small with high probability. Don't worry about chasing. It's the biggest thing. It's the emotion. You cannot chase trades. You cannot chase profit. Just if the plan plays out, stick to the plan. What happens after the trade does not matter. And again, I personally, a lot of the time, will lock in profits. Have my stop loss at break even for a guaranteed winning trade. If it continues up, Grand Slam trade. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out in profit, right? So it's a win-win situation. But just very simply, you don't even have to start there. Just start with the high probability moves, lock in the profit. Who cares if you miss an extra gain? There's going to be another trade the next day, right? Or the next week or the next month, whatever it is. So just preset your take profits. Within the volume profile, it's very, very, very simple. Sometimes you'll come down to the POC and you'll bounce off the POC and get stopped out. Right? But if you take TP1 at the POC with your stop loss at break even, guess what happens? You get stopped out in profit. Capital preservation, risk management, discipline. Those are the keys to trading. Not an indicator, not a strategy, not a setup, right? You can have all the best setups in the world. If you don't have any of the other things I just mentioned, they're useless, right? As you're just going to wind up holding your trades forever and never making actual money. So there we go. Try to make just 10 cents a day. You'd be surprised how hard it is. Shout out to Independence. Oh, man. I aim for $100 per day. Keeps me sane, and generally I make more on good days. Well said. Yes, seek parabolic. That's absolutely perfect, right? Just aim for a daily, and honestly, set a daily maximum profit. And it depends on what kind of trading you're doing, right? But if you're just day trading and you can make $100 a day, that's your max profit. Right? And you hit the target, you make $100. That's it. Stop trading for the day. Right? More trades does not equal more money. More trades only makes more risk. More trades, more risk. Not more trades equal more money. It's the opposite. So if you have a nice setup you waited for and you're able to make $100, that's your max profit for the day. Take the money and walk away. Right? And then if you have a good day where the trade continues to run and you can trail down your stop loss, on a good day, maybe you make $250. And then as your P&L grows, as your account grows, that $100 day is going to turn into a $120 day, right? Those smaller days, those max profit days, then it's $150 a day. Then it's $200 a day, right? And then it grows from there. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Captain Kirk in the chat. Welcome in, Cap. Welcome in. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Shout out to Captain Kirk. I think she might have just left. Shout out to Cap. I did not see you in there. Welcome in. Cap, if you're here, I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Yeah, more trades equals more fees, too. That is true. But, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Hang in there, guys. Again, I thought maybe after not live streaming for a week, we'd have a little bit of a little bit more to talk about. But, of course, Bitcoin's just sitting in the same place. So that's all we got. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time. With all that said, that's all I got. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Crawler. Wait, you guys make money? Shout out to Crawler. Shout out to Darren Does Things. Shout out to It's Happening. Shout out to Independence. Shout out to Captain Kirk if she's still in here. Shout out to Flat Smack, who is now Ewar. I don't know if that is... I don't know if that's how you say that. But shout out to Rick G. Thank you guys for being here. Simplicity, like you say. Thank you very much. Shout out to Rick. No problem. But we'll be back here tomorrow. Same place, same time, guys. That's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
And we're back here on the 5-second chart, guys. Can you see my chart? Yes, you can. We're on the 5-second chart, guys. We're getting a push to the downside. Money flow coming out. I'm just kidding, guys. I can't do this. I can't do that. Even the... Oh, there it is. Pushing into the Fibonacci retracement. There is your rejection, or there is your rejection zone. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Trading view is broken, guys. We're pushing into the Fibonacci retracement. Will she put in the lower high? We got money flow coming out. 5-second green dot. Looking to print here. That's zone number one. We'll look for the full fib as well. Can we get the push to the upside? We're going down to the 1-second time frame here, guys. Come on, will she print? She's not even printing 1-second candles here. She's not even printing 1-second candles. Even the 1-second chart is not moving, guys. This is insane. This is insane. Come on, at least give us the tab of the level. Give us the tab of the level and we're sign off. Come on. Bueller. Come on. Oh, there we go. Teleportation candle. Oh, and the rejection. And the rejection money flow comes out. Are we going to take the low? Are we going to take the low? Are we going to take the low? 1,000x short on the local Fibonacci retracement. Will she print? Will she print? Back to the 5-second. Back to the 5-second. Green dot printing. Will we reject the first fib or the second fib? Only time will tell here, guys. Yo, Rudy says, hell yes. Rudy loves this. Rudy loves this. Come on. Will she break the low? Will she break the low? This is the moment I was waiting for. Shout out to Rudy. Come on. Rudy, I'm not going to lie. This is, man, it's boring on the 5-second chart, guys. I can't even get, who is this madman? Guys, I'm going to make an alter ego, and we're going to start gambling on the 1-second time frame. If price doesn't move, you're going to, I don't know. I got a friend. His name's Frankie Fibonacci, and He doesn't care about risk management. He doesn't care about strategy. He just gambles on the 1 second time frame. We might have to start doing that. We might have to get him on the stream to, give us some entertainment here. But look at that. Just 2 completely flat candles on the 5 second time frame. Go back to the 1 second. Nothing. 3 1 second flat candles. This is, crypto is the new emo. Oh, man. All right, well, there we go, guys. I tried. Another. Oh, there we go. She's popping back to the upside. I got to get out of here, guys. That's all I got for today's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Might even stream a little early tomorrow because unless we get a big move, we'll try to get out of the way early tomorrow. But that's all I got. Honestly, with this price action, the 1 second isn't that risky. You're not wrong, Panda. You're not wrong. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Smash that like button on your way out. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to